Jersey Shore, that is
let's
a
go
very
there.
influential show. As,
Yes.
like was one of the beginnings of the content game.
You're like, wow, this guy doesn't care that his grandma dies. Like what?
No, I'm not thinking that, dude. And then you see Ryan Pineda, who's, younger than Grant, obviously like 20, 30 years younger, and he's trying to follow his model exactly.
What's going on? Welcome back to Dreams Life Goodbye. I was just putting down my water bottle if you're watching the video version. Anyways, my name's Tommy Jordan. There's my buddy Darren Kriz. How you doing today, Darren?
Oh man, we are just living the dream today
Yeah.
and every day. That's what we're doing. We're just hanging out. A lot of good topics to talk about today. It's a Friday. It's always good too. Long week.
It is a Friday. Yes. Yeah, it was a long week. You had a lot going on with your new channel. You were filming like multiple videos a day.
Dude, that's just it's just part of the grind, bro. Just the new channel,
Yep.
the old channel, everything. It's just content. It's the name of the game. It's
Yep.
That's why we're here,
That's right. It's so you're so lucky to say like, oh, my grind. Even though it is hard work, I was filming multiple videos. Someone else is like in a field somewhere, like loading up a truck or something. If they're listening to this, they're like, oh, okay, hard job, guys, filming a few videos. But
exactly,
it's something about the mental drain of being on
dude.
camera,
I mean, the hardest part
having
is
the high
just,
energy.
Yeah, obviously the hardest part is staying consistent with it all, because everyone can say they're on the grind.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still draining posting content and everything, and every content creator will tell you that as well. It's not just it is a grind, obviously. I mean, it's like if you want to grind harder, you always can. You don't have to post one video a week if you're a content creator. You can post daily vlogs like a lot of people were doing that in 2016, 2017. Not as many daily vloggers now that are really popping off. I'm sure people still do it. But it's like that's a full-time job, posting every day, so.
Yeah. That's, I think, one of the struggles is the nice part about being self-employed is like someone tells you what to do, when to do it, and you really know like what your duties are. There's expectations, and if you follow those expectations, like you have a job. But the one of the struggles I think a lot of entrepreneurs or self-employed people face is like, say you got 12 hours today to work, and it's like you finish those 12 hours and there's still more to do. There's always more. I've been feeling that, Darren. I've been getting stuck in my head where it's like, okay, I edited this video. Oh, wait, like I want to get ahead for next week. Oh, wait, I need to do this. Like there's always more to do.
Yeah, I mean, in any entrepreneurial business, it's crazy. Like I'll just be laying there at like 9 p.m. and just thinking, okay, I could just go to bed and like watch a movie or watch something on TV or on YouTube or whatever. But then it's like, I mean, I could also just finish editing this video tonight and then be ahead for the next day. But it's like, I mean, the hardest part is really just structuring, organizing, planning your days, your weeks, also planning for family time, planning for, just having a good work-life balance, and also reward yourself, little wins, or else life will get boring. It's not just, so it's hard to organize and structure it, your days, set 3 goals, get those 3 goals done. That's what I always tell people that have a lot of problems organizing, structuring, and planning. Is just like, I think that's the easiest thing, instead of just like time blocking and hour blocking, which can be beneficial for some people, but then you run into other things where you might go over that hour. But if you set 3 goals, get those done for the day, I think that's the easiest way to just get things done efficiently without like getting too overwhelmed.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, what do you think? What would you say to people who like, what do you do when you bite off a little more than you could chew?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question, because then I mean, it's going to get overwhelming no matter what, I would say. So if you're an entrepreneur, because there's always something to do. I mean, I guess just focus on what you think is the most enjoyable and the most beneficial for you long term, and then just work on that. If you think you got too much going on, I mean, it's tough. I mean, there's not one answer for everyone, because everyone works in different ways. Everyone is structured differently. Everyone's got a different brain, the way that it works. So it's not for everyone. That's for sure. I've seen a lot of people come and go, not just in in the real estate space, obviously, which I see daily people coming and going, but in the entrepreneurial space as well, people starting different companies and switching and, trying the next big thing that they think is going to make them take off, make more money in the short term. But it's yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. Sorry if you're watching the video version. You've probably been seeing Darren talk, but I feel like I freaking look like Jimmy Neutron right now with my hair or something. So luckily, if you're listening to the audio version, I'm like literally like, oh, my hair's bothering me.
Yeah, I was wondering what you're doing over there.
Bro, enjoy the audio version, okay? Because you don't have to see. Have you ever heard that? They're like, oh, you have a face for radio. Or like, like you wouldn't want to put Ryan Seacrest,
bro.
On. Actually, Ryan Seacrest,
dude,
what the freak? Kiss FM, he started radio, but he had such a nice little face. They put him on American Idol. What am I talking about?
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly. He was the host of one of the biggest shows of all time. But bro, I bet you're the only one that thinks your hair looks like Jimmy Neutron right now. Like if I'm looking at you, I think your hair is like it's like as good as it's ever looked, bro. Like, what do you think it's too poofy or what? What is going on over there?
I don't know, maybe it's the poop. A little Jersey Shore, dude. A little like
little Mike the situation. Oh, Pauly D hair right there. There you go.
Man, bring me back to my childhood. No,
yeah.
Back to what you're saying. I feel bad for these people listening. Yeah, what? What are you on?
I was going to say, speaking of Jersey Shore, that is a very influential show that has was one of the beginnings of the content game, of the reality star game, reality TV game. Yeah. Whereas now everyone wants to make their own reality show. If you think about it.
Wow.
I mean, what years were they? They were, I think it's probably them and the Kardashians who are the pioneers of reality TV and that space of just growing, being yourself, just putting their lives out on camera. And it's very, very, it's a different time now. It's crazy.
Totally.
I watched every season of that back in the day. So
for sure. It's funny because I think they got so much like slack. Anybody who was on reality TV like back in the day, so much like slack for being on reality TV. I just think of, for example, even like we were talking about buying Beverly Hills, and like Mauricio has been on not $1 Million Listing. He's been on there, but the Beverly Hills Housewife, because his wife. And I was like, oh, I always thought this like maybe 10 years ago. That show's been going on for a while, and I wonder how much slack he got in the real estate community, the business community, for being on like a reality TV show. But dude, it's probably blown up his business and blown up the agency, and like, you know what I mean? Nowadays it's more normal, I think, to be on reality TV. It's cool, and people want to have big social media presences because they realize the monetization aspects and that you could just crush it. Like, it's all about attention, We're making our own television show now, radio station, whatever. But that's so funny though, going back to like the Jersey Shores and Kardashians, they really did start things.
I mean, everyone does have the capability of making their own reality show now, which is what a lot of people do. And if you go on Netflix, the top shows that are trending are normally like reality shows. I'm pretty sure number one right now is this show called Love is Blind. I've never seen it, but like that's, those are the kind of shows that are always number one. The Love is Blind. There's like Love Island. There's all those different shows with like love interests, just reality shows. People like to see these random people doing what they're doing, and people like kind of not really respect these people, but they look at them in a way different light than they did like in the first few seasons of Jersey Shore. These days, because people want to go on these shows now. Back then they were like, oh, reality shows, like what are we talking about here? I mean, even though they were pretty fake, but
though, like everyone's like, oh, like Jersey Shore, look at these people, but then it's like millions of people tune in to watch. Everyone's like, oh, the Kardashians, they get booed and stuff when they're out in public, but then millions of people watch them and give them their fame. It's like, bro, like shut up. You like watching like reality TV, social media,
there's not going to be anyone that's getting a big following that's not going to have haters. Everyone's going to have haters. I mean, they're going to have probably just as many haters as people that love them too. So it's it's exactly. It just depends how much you can actually take and how many comments you can read that are just hating on you before you actually like break down. I know some people gets too overwhelming for them and they eventually just will like fall off or stop the whole online content stuff and just live in the real world. But I know a lot of people that get a lot of hate online, even like a guy like Tate or a guy like like Logan Paul, he gets a lot of hate online too. All these guys say that not one time, maybe once or 0 times, that they've ever gotten real hate in person, in real life.
Interesting.
It's only online hate. Yeah. All of these.
What do they call them? Keyboard warriors. They sit and they're like in their basement and they're like, Andrew Tate, you suck. You don't have a real business. And he's like,
I think that's exactly what they sound like too.
You know what I mean? It's like, and he's like sitting in like Monaco on a yacht, or it's like, bro,
he's like, I'll still be on my private jets and on my jet skis and doing anything I want. But yeah, I mean, also anyone that's going to hate on someone else is just not in a good place personally. That's why Gary Vee always says he looks at those comments in a opposite way that everyone else does. He looks at them with empathy. He always says he like feels bad for them. That's such a crazy way to think about it, and he looks at it way different than anyone has ever even thought of.
I know, bro. He's like Gary Vee. I don't want to say the modern day Jesus, but like, and I know he doesn't, bro. I know he doesn't.
Maybe
like,
don't give him that much credit.
Right, yeah. No, I mean, not that much credit. But he said like he doesn't really have any religious affiliation or anything like that. But dude, the way he lives his life and his principles and stuff, because like, bro, like even me, like I'll see the comments he gets, bro, and like I've seen him comment back, and he's like, "Hey, what made you feel that way?" And I'm like, "What, dude?" Like he really genuinely like takes his time, because he says, if these people are hating on you, obviously like they're just miserable in their own life, hurt people, that typical like saying you've heard. And it's really funny, but that's a good way to approach it, because like, why do people like hate on a pretty girl? A lot of times the girls are jealous of them. Like, why would someone hate on Andrew Tate? Well, maybe they're jealous of what he has, or have you ever heard people say that like the thing you don't like is like the thing you're most like, or something like that? Dude?
Like, people always hate from a place of jealousy or internal insecurity. I feel like it's got to be one of those two. And they'll see themselves in them, or they'll see like that they can't be what they are, so they'll just choose hate. I mean, why would you ever need to choose hate? When I look at people like that, people that are successful, or people doing anything, before I think to myself, about hating, I want to think like, what is their thought process going into this initially? Because everyone thinks a different way. It's all about perception. You can think one way and then completely flip it to try to think a different way to feel be in their shoes, because we don't know what they're going through also in their minds, anyone that we'd want to hate on as well. And especially anything you see online, there's a lot of things that are just particularly planned, specifically planned to the T on each sentence they'll say, so to make themselves look a certain way or be perceived as a certain way. So you can never fully judge someone that you don't know in person and only know online.
Totally. Yeah. And it's really just like a waste of time, because instead of thinking, and this goes with comparison too, because I know social media gets a lot of flack because like, kids are on there and they get like depressed and stuff. And because you're looking at all these other people's lives and they're doing this and they're doing that, but people are just showing little snippets of their life, and you don't know what the rest of their life actually even looks like. So rather than looking at other people and seeing the fun things they're doing, or just like, not liking people online, if you put all that brain power into your own life, you'd be a lot further ahead of where you want to be. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Putting that brain power from hate into positivity and love, and just putting it into themselves, and, putting that energy. Like, why would you put that energy anywhere other than into putting it into yourself to reach out or to get to your full potential,
Yeah.
So,
because that's a good thing you said, though. Energy. It's energy. You're expending energy. So do you want to use that energy to further your own goals and the things you want to do in your life? Or are you going to just waste that energy that you can't get back on something that you're not like planting a seed that's going to turn into something, a plant, flower, whatever. You're just, that seed's just going to the wayside, and you're not planting anything.
Yeah, all we have in life is energy, really, like realistically, and we have just a short amount of time every single day to choose where we can extend that energy into. Like, are we going to put it into our business, our friends, our family, or are we going to put it into hating and being jealous of other people that are trying to make it on their own, trying to they're trying to accomplish the same exact things that we are trying to accomplish. We're all just really trying to be happy, be successful, do good for our friends, our family, just like truly, like everyone just wants to be satisfied and live a good life, a good lifestyle. So what's the point of putting that energy into someone we have no clue who they are, what they're going through? It's crazy how many haters there are online these days. And I think TikTok's probably the most toxic of all of them.
Yeah. But I think, I think in the other podcast I said, usually you're not getting a lot of hate comments until you have lots and lots of views and lots of comments. And it's really the 1% of comments are even hateful. And I don't know. It's just like, if you're going to do anything in life, you have to put yourself out there, whether it's even in the workplace or anything, when you're trying to do better for yourself and your family, usually people don't like it, and you just have to be like, well, you don't want them in your life anyway, so it doesn't really matter. What's their opinion? They don't really know you or even want the best for you. But I think that's something you said that really stuck with me, is about that you only have so much energy every day. And I think that could be a hard thing sometimes, especially whether you're an older or younger viewer, because nowadays people are living to 100. I mean, my grandma just passed away last week, and she lived to in her 90s, dude. 95,
no way, dude. Sorry 96. To hear that.
Dude, no worries, bro. I'm like, I don't want to say this. I'm like, I don't I'm like, I don't know. Stuff doesn't not that I'm not sad. This sounds so awful, bro. Dude, this podcast has to be real. I'm sad, but just growing up and stuff, she always lived further away from me. And I'm not saying she wasn't great or anything, but it wasn't spending a lot of time with her. So it wasn't one of those things where the more time you spend with someone, the more that relationship's built. So I'm sad. I'm sad for my mom. I hope my mom's not listening to this, but yeah. I don't know. The podcast. Stop the film.
No.
I'm like, oh, you're like, wow, this guy doesn't care that his grandma died. What?
No, I'm not thinking that, dude. That's just how life is.
To this.
Yeah. No, but the more time we spend with someone, the closer we get to them. And if you haven't seen someone in years and years, and then you just find out that something happened. Obviously, condolences. And she lived into her 90s, so she lived a phenomenal and a long and hopefully healthy and had tons of memories. So,
bro,
I'm sure she had a good life.
She did, bro, and she was she smoked for 30 years, bro, packs. And she still lived to 100. And I'm not advising anyone to do this, but I'm just saying, bro, so my wife and us, we try to eat organic and be so healthy. Don't take the kids to McDonald's. But when I see my grandma live to friggin' 100 smoking packs, I'm like, what am I doing with my life, man?
Dude, yeah, it's crazy how some people can I saw one guy who lived to be 120. I remember this was a few years ago, but some guy lived to be 120, and they asked him what he did, and he was like, I don't know, I drank beer every day.
Stop.
How do some people? I mean, some people are just built differently internally,
built
somehow.
Different,
but
no, I agree. But what I originally was going off of is that could be the hard thing sometimes, looking at your life and your goals. And I've been talking to you a lot about this and being okay, what thing is going to get me further to the place I really want to be? Because sometimes we're doing so many things, trying so many things, and it's hard to sort of pick. I think we really live in this luxury, this day and age of you're still laughing about my grandma on the back. If you're watching the video version, go. Hey, by the way, and subscribe. Put something in the comments on YouTube. And if you're on Spotify or Apple, please comment down below. Show us some love.
Oh, man.
But he's still on my grandma. But, dude, I wanted to pour out a 40 right now. I was going to say for my dead homies. This is just it's getting out of control. But, Darren, how do you choose, okay, what's going to really – how do you get clear – on your goals in the process of your goals? So we had, last week, really cool guest on, Dean, who was so young and got a couple weeks back. Oh yeah, that's right. Time flies by when you're having fun with my D dog over here.
Let's go.
How do you think some people just they have these goals and they work hard. And I don't know, sometimes like, do you think some people overthink it? Do you think just like it's just all about action? Do you think it needs to be some orchestrated thing? I mean, you've talked to like a Grant Cardone, he's all about like 10X, and it's just more of like take action and output. And then you hear someone like Hermosi, and he's saying, action, but he also says like find that one thing and put action into that, and then you'll get to the depths. And he talks about the nuances in that thing where you're great. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Grant Cardone, and just speaking about those two guys you brought up, Grant Cardone and Alex Hormozi both have completely separate ways that they look about going about businesses. Because Hormozi is that guy who says, you know, he sold 9 of his 10 businesses, went all in on one, and then it just took off, made 10 times more money than he could have made with all those 10 businesses combined. But then Grant Cardone, he had like one business, and then once he started scaling, putting out content, he was like, why not do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 businesses now? And they all will scale passively pretty much just through his message, his word. Through when one business goes up, all the other businesses will go up as well. So they have and they're both successful at it. So I don't think there's one way to go about it. And then you see Ryan Pineda, who's, you know, younger than Grant, obviously like 20, 30 years younger, and he's trying to follow his model exactly. It was one of the best business entrepreneurial content creation podcasts that I've listened to with Grant and Ryan Pineda.
Yes.
Where, it's pretty cool to see Ryan's pretty much copying exactly. And he's telling him, he's like, I learned what I'm doing through you. That's why I have all these different businesses now. And they all are growing right next to each other at the same pace pretty much. So why not just put them all out there and then see what happens, because it's like, I mean, how much can you work on one specific like brokerage or one specific CPA company every day? Like there's so much you can do to scale businesses like that, you know, whereas if it's online, I mean, I guess you could scale it in other ways by hiring out and stuff. But when you're hiring out, then you might as well start something else, and that'll grow passively as your following grows. But that was just a great listen on that.
Yeah. And I like the Pineda Grant version because it's so hard. Life has so many different things and there's so much to offer. And it's hard to like just be in one business and stay there. You know what I mean? It's like, it's nice. Now what I've sort of done in my life is I realized like, okay, like obviously I've been a real estate agent like for the last few years, then learning social media. Okay, why don't I take these two things that I love and put them together? And it's like a natural fit, helping other real estate agents learn how to do social media, get business. So I've like reined it in a little where I'm not so like ADD squirrel where it's like, I want to be, you know, the next American Idol. Bye, Samantha. Like I'm going to Vegas. I'm an audition. And if this doesn't work out, I'm going to start doing karaoke at like kids' birthday parties, which is fine if people like go crazy directions. I mean, and
some people are wired like that. Some people are wired to where they can't stay stagnant, or not stagnant, but like in one thing at one time. You know, I know people that they'll do one thing for a month, they'll get bored instantly, and then do another thing and another thing, another thing. And I think a lot of that actually has to deal with where we are in society with technology and social media these days. I feel like people weren't doing that as much 20, 30 years ago, where they're just jumping ship in all these different companies, because also I don't think they knew that there was that much out there that they could do. But now that we have TikTok, we have Reels, you know, all these shorts, and then you see one guy making millions doing one way, another guy making millions. You're like, oh, maybe I should try that. And then people think there's all these different worlds out there. But if they stick to one, you know, grow that out, then branch off of that one, I feel like that's a better way to go for someone that's just like trying to figure things out. You know,
because there's different stages. There's like a discovery stage where you're young and you get a degree in business, and then all of a sudden you're like in agriculture, or like, you know what I mean? You're like, what does that degree do? But then, you know, you just try different things in life, and by trying things, you know, because I always tried so many things in life, dude. I did surf photography, and then I was like trading Forex in high school, like, you know, and then if crypto was around, I would have been doing that in high school. And then, you know, I wanted to like be an actor, and I was taking improv classes at the Groundlings in LA. and like so many different directions, and there were just a bunch of different threads. And now that I'm older, I see the threads more coming together, and it wasn't all a waste of time. So when my kids get older, I'm going to be like, as long as you're in your 20s and you're providing for yourself and you're, I would say following God, because I believe in God, I would say like, go for it. Try 1,000 things. As long as you could stand on your 2 feet and like, mommy and daddy aren't having to like send you checks, which is not going to happen, go for it. Like try 1,000 things because, but eventually it is smart to narrow down on one because that's how you could, get great at something.
Yeah, I mean, I tried it all under the sun too, from drop shipping to Amazon FBA. I followed all these gurus. Like I was just telling you, I was in Iman Ghazi's webinar like 3 years ago before he started popping off in the last couple months, and now he's getting 1 million views on just his sit-down 30-minute long talks, and he's like 22 years old. But yeah, so I mean, I've seen all these gurus. I've tried all the little businesses that you see online. But going way back to that goals question you have, I don't even think I like kind of fully answered it, but I think it's way different for every single individual person, because some people are just happy with, playing video games, just hanging out at the end of a long work day, and then their goals are pretty much just to save up a little bit of money from their 9 to 5, get their weekly paycheck, make sure that they're good, make sure that they're going to be okay. They're going to be able to eat that week, pay rent. Whereas other people with a little bit more ambition, I'm not saying that they don't have ambition also. Like I would say people that are in a different mind state still have ambition, but they're just a little more lost, which is why I feel like maybe they need like a mentor or someone.
Are they lost in the Matrix?
Well, yeah, like technically, yes, they would be lost in the Matrix because I mean, they're doing what, the economy wants them to do by playing these video games, by getting stimulated by these advertisements, by just, conforming to everything in society, and just, they're stuck in the bubble of the Matrix in reality. So it's, it's just different, different strokes for different folks. Not everyone wants the same thing. So it's tough to plan out your goals and then actually execute on them when you see there's all these different things going on. So might as well just get stimulated in other aspects. That's why there's a lot of people that get addicted to things out there too, because of this stimulation and action that they just want constantly going through their lives without just like having something set for them.
Yeah, it's funny. I used to listen to the little Alex Becker. Oh, Alex Becker, I hope you're listening to our podcast. I just found his humor so good. He would die at my grandma talk. But, oh, shoot. No pun intended. Oh, my gosh.
Dude, Alex Becker, I used to get all my crypto information from him. I would say I'd watch a video from him every day when Bitcoin was going up and up, and I would like whatever he said, like not to like, I mean, whatever he said, I would just buy that coin, whatever. Like he'll say a coin, I'll be like, I'm in. He convinced
feel like
me.
He cared.
Yeah, you feel like he knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you actually, if there's anyone that's listening to this that has ever listened to his old crypto stuff, he used to just trash on Cardano, ADA, like every day. And that's where I was like the heaviest in. And I would always, in all the comments, like would be, just why are you hitting on ADA? Eventually it'll go up. We'll see. 10 years from now, Cardano's up, I'm doing all right. Because I still got a ton. Yeah.
Oh, but he had a whole thing. There's lots of videos you could go into him in Sam Ovens, I think, too, about dopamine and the fact that all this TikTok, these video games, there's something about we used to get dopamine, say, thousands of years ago. I'd be sitting there and my wife would be like stitching some leaves together for my little banana hammock for me to wear, right? And I would go like hunt a big animal, okay? And like once I got that animal and I killed it, why are you looking at me so weird? I'm talking about like I hope you're really watching YouTube. Make sure you go to YouTube. I'm talking about when people used to hunt for their food, and then you hunted that food, and you would get a dopamine hit.
Wait, is this an actual scenario that happened?
No.
Oh, okay. That's why I was a little confused.
Oh,
gotcha.
Dude.
Because
you're like, whoa, you're into some weird role play stuff.
Interesting.
No, bro.
Didn't know this was Tommy. Thought he goes to church on Sundays.
No, I'm talking about like hypothetically thousands of years ago we would have to hunt for our food. And I'm just saying there would be a longer payoff before you got that reward. But Alex Becker was talking about like things like MMORPGs, like World of Warcraft. You could get to level 80, level 60, level 100, whatever. And every level, you're getting a dopamine hit. Every quest you go on, you get a new item. You're getting a dopamine hit. Every time a new season comes out for like PvP and you get some new gear, you get a dopamine hit. So now society, like TikTok, is set up, and they realize this is like all scientific. This isn't an accident. As you're scrolling on TikTok, you get a lot of these mini dopamine hits. And he was saying that from all of this, basically what's happening to our brain is it's making people, and I think anybody listening would agree with this, it's making it hard for people to stick with mundane things to become successful. And let's be real, a lot of people listening to this, you're probably an entrepreneur interested in business, content creation. So you probably want to do big things. Dreams life went by, okay? You're probably, and if you have a job you hate, you're probably aspiring to something bigger. So, yeah. But what he was saying is like, he would take breaks, bro. And tell me what your thoughts about this. We sort of do this for a living, so I don't know how many breaks we could take. He would take a break from all social media for a week, or no video games for a week, or even with food. For example, like cake and certain kinds of things, you get a hit of like dopamine. And he was saying as he stopped doing those things, he started getting more satisfaction in his daily grind, working on his companies and his businesses. And he was actually being able to realize he would find more satisfaction in his work, and basically like a self-fulfilling kind of thing, where then he'd work harder and get more joy out of it, and become more successful, because at the end of the day, or when he started his day, his dopamine wasn't just like flatlined.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I mean, no, it definitely makes sense. I'd say like what we were saying earlier about energy. I think all we have is energy. All we have is energy and dopamine hits. So wherever we put our energy out to get those dopamine hits is all we're going to be taking in on our day-to-day lives. But like how some people, if you stop playing video games, again, the dopamine from that, you have to get it elsewhere. Or if you're getting dopamine from like, doing anything that's instant gratification, whether that's like gambling or going out, like drinking, doing drugs, all these different things that will give you dopamine hits are if you once you stop doing that and then you focus on your work and your business, you'll get more satisfaction out of that, whether that's through many ways, whether that's seeing the money in your bank account go up, or that's seeing some views go up, those are also dopamine spikes, whether that's seeing a 1 out of 10 on a YouTube video that you post, that's always a great hit. And then you get the confetti coming up on your computer screen. And then that's always like,
I love it.
That's, it feels good.
I've always,
feel satisfied.
I've always been into funfetti cake. So I really like that.
Oof, I don't know about that. That's too much dopamine for me. I wouldn't eat that cake. That's why,
I can just see you at your computer seeing the funfetti.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's the same thing with food too, because like I don't eat sweets or anything like that, and I don't even like sweets or like cake. I don't like cake.
Wow.
I haven't had a cookie in like probably a year. But it's not that I don't like this stuff. Just like it's been a while since I've had this, so I have no cravings for it at all. It's just not there. I'd rather I get more dopamine from going to the gym, and then it's crazy. Like I have more dopamine from going to the gym every day, and hitting a max on the bench than eating a
getting
cupcake.
That pump on.
So it's just it's different. Once you stop doing one thing and then start doing something else, you'll see different levels internally increase. Like I don't know, people that play video games every day, they probably like get home and then they just want to like figure out how to level up to the next level in that game, because that's what's gonna ease them and stimulate their brain for that night. But then other people want to get home, either work on their business and make a sale or post a video, and they're going to get equally the same, if not more dopamine from that, because they're actually growing something in their real life. As we were talking about the Ryan and Grant podcast, Grant talks about how, so like Ryan was telling him, like, what do you like so much about what you're doing, about your businesses, like growing on your on social media, your net worth, like what's the best part about it for you? And Grant says, I love the game. It's all a game to him. The whole, and so does Patrick Bet-David. He says that a lot too.
I literally saw a TikTok on that. So there was a really good TikTok, and a lady said, what would you do if you lost everything tomorrow, and he's like, ha ha, if I lost it, I would love that. Like it was so like diabolical and cool. I loved it. He was like, are you kidding me? If I had nothing, like I would be back because I'm about the game, in the game. And that, like, I literally went to bed last night. I didn't tell you. And I just was like seeing his face just like floating around, hearing the game. And I'm like, dang, man, I got to not love the things the game could give me and love the game for itself.
Exactly. I mean, like, we are in a live role player game, you know. This is our lives. It's like we're playing GTA with ourselves, you know. We just gotta level up in every category in our lives.
It's cool that you mentioned Pineda and Grant because they're both people that are really successful, but there's no one size fits all. So I think that's what like the thing is trying to figure out like what size works best for you. And that made me think about a conversation we were having about real estate agents with old school methods.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy the day and age that we're in 2022 in the real estate game. I mean, last night I was at a Twilight open house event for one of our team's newest listings in Beverly Hills. Beautiful house, $14 million, right in Beverly Hills on Angelo. Beautiful home. I mean, upgrades were phenomenal. But I went over there with my vlog camera because I was filming for my second channel. So I was just like, you know, making the most out of everything, because these days it's like things like that, you know, they're fun and all, but they're not really like, it's kind of just like, you know, I don't want to say wasting time, but it's just like time that you could be doing something else that's a little more productive. So if I can mix in filming content at these open houses and then posting them on YouTube, on social media, also get shorts from that, you know, why not? It's a nice house. So that's why I pretty much spent 2.5 hours getting content with my camera, with my phone, and then for another thing. So just many different, and then B-roll. So it's just like, it's different. And so I'll get a lot of questions asked by a few people. Like, these young agents came up to me and they were like, so is that a Sony A7? I was like, yeah, it's a new camera, A7S. They're like, oh, you doing photography for the house? I'm like, well, actually. And then I just kind of went on a rant, dude. Like, it was a pretty crazy, I mean, just like about how there's, you know, a lot of agents here. There's like a good amount, maybe 50 to 100 agents there. It's a pretty big open house, but like a lot of them have been in the business for 20 plus years. And I'm sure they're doing well, you know, at whatever they like to do to prospect, cold calling, door knocking, expired, circle prospect. You know, it all works. Postcards, it all works. It's all worked. It all will work forever. But do they really like doing that, doing 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. calls every day? I mean, we tried it, and it can work for you if you're good at it, if you master the art of cold calling, you know, like it. And there's people that have made millions and millions of dollars, started big companies only cold calling. But in this day and age, and everything has changed in the last 2-3 years. So it's like, if you hear people talk about this in 2017, it's way different than what people are talking about now. But content is king, and just like the type of clients that you can get through making content is just way higher quality than the clients you'll get from postcards, because they feel like you are replaceable. They feel like they can just get any other random salesperson and that you're just one of the 100,000 agents in the city. Whereas through content, they're coming out to you as a celebrity. They know, like, and trust you. They think that you are, you know, that guy that's gonna, you know, they already think that you're friends with them. Just like all these influencers you watch online, whether that's a realtor, whether that's a YouTuber, random person, you already feel like you know them. You feel like you're their friend when you meet them. So that's why it's just like the new wave of real estate is just, it's just way different. It's so outdated. A lot of the ways people are still doing it. That's why when these agents, I ask them, like, what do you guys do in a prospect? You know, because all I do is make content to get new clients and to build businesses. But all they do, well, not all they do, but they were saying, yeah, I host open houses every weekend. And I told them open houses are probably the only other old school method that I would still like that I would suggest that would work. You know, you're meeting people for one specific, people are going there for a specific reason to look at the house, potentially buy. Like, that's one that you'll see people face to face that I think is better than obviously like the cold calling, door knocking, postcards. Like, they'll know who you are. But like, it's just that people don't really know and the potential, because also a lot of these agents and realtors that are making content, we don't really know how much business they're actually getting. Like, we don't see the numbers online of exactly how much they're getting, how many clients they're getting, how many leads we're getting, when in reality, some of these people are making more money than you listening could even fathom monthly just through content. And a lot of them don't even have that big of a following. It's just crazy, some of the numbers that we've talked about this week from other people who are online that are just killing it, and you would never suspect that. And I think the average agent just has no idea, which is like last night, just talking to all these people. It's interesting to hear perspectives, because I just look at all that we're doing is, way different light than everyone that I'm talking to these days and that I met last night at the event. So,
bro, it literally boggles my mind. It boggles my mind, bro, that you would spend 8 to 12 cold calling, hoping and praying that someone would want to work with you to buy or sell. Or even, open houses, okay. If you're holding in Beverly Hills, it's different. It's a different level. If you're holding an open house for a $20 million house, but you probably don't. They don't have open houses for homes, over 10 million? Do they really? Other than like a Twilight Open, do they really have open houses every weekend for homes that are 20, 50 million? 50 million? And anybody could walk in?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be worth it. Because then the kind of actual buyers coming in, but most people across America where homes are 400,000, the average home, if it's a weekend and I'm not with my family and we're not hanging out, I'm not hoping to get business that weekend. I'm actually with a qualified, pre-approved buyer, because I'm not going to waste my weekend just hoping, sitting in a house that someone might want to walk in the door and maybe work with me. Now, I think if you're at this really high level of real estate, then it could be worth it, like you said. Yeah. But people just got to wake up. We were talking about this guy, and I won't say his name because we got this source of information somewhere, but this realtor, basically developed a big following through teaching people stuff we're talking about right now, he's been in the game grinding at this for years, and he's earning, this is just through a certain method, like call it like affiliates, he's earning $400,000 per month as a real estate agent. And this is like real verifiable information. $400 a month through this affiliate income through his social media following. He's making way more now than he ever could in his wildest dreams of being a realtor. Even the top realtors in Beverly Hills, you sell $100 million worth of volume of real estate. Let's average 2% commission. You're making $2 million that year. Incredible money. That's great. But this guy, probably not even in a marketplace where you could even make that kind of money. He's making almost $5 million a year just off affiliates. That's not all his courses and everything else he has involved. So for me, and we were talking about where to allocate time. If you're listening to this, if you hear the sounds of our voice, allocate your time in things that are going to give you leverage. And social media is the greatest opportunity that possibly exists. YouTube and stuff, especially when you do it in a niche way to grow your business, it's going to have just exponential results. And that's what, but a lot of people, they don't know like what actually exists. So if you don't know the possibility, then I don't even think you start on the path. And then maybe you start on the path, but you still don't even believe in that real possibility. For me, it happened once I 2 months in, I started getting phone calls from people from other states saying they saw my video and they want to work with me. And at that time, I was doing 8, 9, 10 hours a day with a triple line phone dialer. So having actual 100 conversations with new people every day, that's very hard. It's hard to get 30 conversations a day. It's hard to get 10, but to do that volume, it was bonkers, bro. And those people would hang up the phone. It was miserable existence. And then once I actually had people wanting to work with me, I'm like, okay, game over. I'm going all in on this because this is where it's at. And I think that's what you said. Do those people even do they even like waking up and calling for 4 or 5 hours? You have one life.
Dude, oh my gosh. I did talk to someone last night who did say that. I was like, so what are you doing a prospect? And they were like, oh, I'm cold calling. I was like, oh, do you like doing that? They said, I love it. They said, oh, so they're like, I wake up every day. I love cold calling. And I mean, they're cold calling warm leads, I guess, for a little, well, not like warm leads, but they had a reason to call. It wasn't just circle prospecting. It was like, oh, I have this listing down your street, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's sort of an effective way, but still, you're going to reach out to a handful of people every hour, whereas you can just post content and reach out to a much larger group of people, and then have other endless potential to grow any other kind of way from all of those different people getting to your. That's why the compounding, we've talked about this many times, but the compounding of social media is just way more beneficial for your business than the old school methods. You have to keep innovating. And that's not just with real estate. That's with any business. If you're trying to grow a pest control company, if they were on TikTok doing dances, I'll bet you they would have a huge pest control business.
For sure.
So, yeah.
For sure. Pest control idea. You're in your local city. What's a common people have? Rodents, mice, same thing, I think. Cockroaches, whatever. Okay. Yeah. You literally create searchable content. Rodent problems in Palm Desert, California. Rodent problems in Nashville, Tennessee. I mean, you start making all this content, like you're literally going to start getting traffic. It's really like that simple.
Yeah, and it's also about being authentic, which is what people like to see. Another conversation I had last night with a young kid, new agent, who like just got his license pretty much, and he was asking me a couple questions about social media. He showed me his TikTok page. He had like 20,000 followers on TikTok, and it's just from talking head kind of stuff, content, just being himself. And he has 20,000 followers. And he was like, so I was thinking of making a separate account for just real estate, and then seeing where that goes. So then I'll have 2 TikTok accounts, one that's business and then one that's this personal. And then instantly I told him why. What is the point in doing that when you already have a following of people that know you have 20,000 people that are following you because they already like you, they already know who you are, and they like you for just you being you. So why not mix real estate stuff in with you already being yourself? Because that's what people want to see. These 20,000 people are the pool that are going to eventually do business with you, that are going to buy a house, sell a house with you, because they already know who you are. It's not going to be someone that randomly comes across your real estate page one day, because there are thousands of different people that just have a real estate page. And if he's already comfortable getting on camera and just talking, which is the hardest part for most people, which is just talking about, it's hard, like to just get on camera, start filming yourself and just coming up with a topic and just saying personal things that people can relate to. That's the hardest part of making content, is just putting yourself out there, putting anything out there. So if he's already doing that and he's comfortable with getting on camera, comfortable with showing his personality, who he truly is, why not mix that with real estate stuff? And then that's when he'll actually grow, when people are seeing, oh, I like this about his personality, and he's doing real estate. This is a guy I would actually work with, because everyone's a real estate agent these days. You're not going to work with the person that's technically the smartest in the real estate game. You're going to work with the person that you actually like the most or relate to the most. And if one guy relates to him the most, then that's who they're going to do business with. One guy relates to another one the most, and they'll do business with him. It's not, there's endless potential with anyone, as long as we are just being ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. 1,000%. It's so funny. People aren't going to pick the smartest agent, the smartest doctor at all. Like sometimes it's just the person who you even know, or who's out there, or who's advertising, or who has good marketing. Like I heard a really good quote. It was something about if you have a good product, you could have the best product in the world and still have no sales. But if you have the best marketing in the world, you could have a terrible product and you could have a lot of sales. Now, of course, you might not get repeat customers and stuff, but it's not necessarily nowadays how good you are, like how amazing our lighting is, how good. It's like the content. The content is king, and that's you being authentic and you being real. And I think that's what people want. Especially, I think that's why podcasts are cool, because, and this is not me being biased, I listen to a lot of podcasts, because on Instagram, you could just be there with your family looking all cute. You could be there in front of your jet. But what happens in the, what happens when you spill coffee all over the jet? Or what happens when you and your wife get in an argument? I mean, that's random. But what I mean is on a podcast, you hear people actually talk and express how they actually feel. And I think that's why some major podcasts are blowing up right now, because I think people, that's what they're wanting from social media nowadays is people being authentic. And I think there's nothing better than having some kind of business or product and not afraid to really be like Mattress Mac and be yourself.
That's a crazy story. I mean, he won $75 million on the Houston Astros winning the World Series. But if they and now everyone gets a free mattress that bought one, I think. I don't remember his exact business model,
something
but all I
like
know is
that. Something cool.
He would win. It was a win-win for him. If they lost, people would get this kind of rate. If they won, he would make money and then have no discount or whatever at his stores. But yeah, that's pretty cool too. And then he's getting all this pub, so it helps out his mattress store even more, which is another business that's crazy. And he's doing it a way different way than, putting himself online and growing a following. But he's naturally grown a following because all these platforms are posting about him. So
yeah, but I mean, what is he, like 105? And he's crushing it, bro.
I think he's older than your grandma,
dude. Bro, but it goes to show you that like this isn't like it doesn't matter what stage of life you're on. And like you could like he's doing better than some 20-year-olds you're talking to at open houses, which is crazy. And I don't mean better monetarily, but better by just like using current strategies and tactics to get clients. So
and that's crazy, so and innovating. And it's still crazy how like there's 20. Well, it's not crazy because everyone is into different things, but luckily we are into watching YouTube videos and learning about all this kind of stuff. Whereas some people are better than
some people are into better things than other people. Just
kidding. I mean, that's also that's true too. But like some 20-something-year-olds don't have a clue what we're talking about. They don't know who Mr. Beast is, David Dobrik, Logan Paul. They have no idea. Yeah. I mean, it's different. They're more into other, like they could be into Hulu shows or the Kardashian. Well, no, those are still like influencers. Call of Duty. You go. That's what
picking their nose.
Yeah, I guess that could be a hobby. That's also another way that they could go about it. But yeah,
I just wanted to throw some shade, bro. I just wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, they could still be the best nose picker that you could possibly imagine. Imagine what Gary Vee would say about them. He would probably say, make content around picking your nose, and you can still grow into anything. You have full potential if you're just focusing on one thing.
It's
but
true.
I wonder how that would go. I feel like there's got to be like a random TikTok page about some very stupid, but that has like 100,000 followers.
For sure. I have little kids, so I can't pick my nose, my wife tells me, because then Thomas or Hudsie will do it. And then she says when they go to preschool, they'll be picking their nose and they'll get picked on, and it's because they saw me do it.
Wow. So you're the
deep.
Problem. You're the problem. It's you.
I'm not saying I'm the problem. But it's just like, because kids, just guilty as charged. Yeah. Now, because like kids watch every move you make, and I'm like, bro, I don't want them getting picked on because they're little nose picker boys. You know what I'm saying?
But also that's maybe you do want them getting picked on because then that'll build their toughness for the future.
Ooh, and then they'll be major influencers one day and be able to handle hate because all the nose picking that went on in preschool.
Yeah, they're like, this online hate is nothing to me. I was getting real life hate throughout all my years in school because my dad was picking his nose because then I started picking my nose. So it stemmed from you having that bad habit. To eventually, they became these very successful, well-known influencers that can take any kind of hate. And it all started with you picking your nose. So there you go.
Oh, that's
a life journey for your kids.
That's a life journey. Yeah, thanks. Now people are going to know me as that, but it's all good, man.
All right. Well, we pretty much talked about everything we wanted to talk about today. Everything from nose picking to building businesses online, and I don't even remember anything else we talked about after your grandma, really.
Either.
But I'm sure there's still a lot of value in here, from becoming a real estate agent in this day and age, from building brands through content, through just learning, innovating, just growing day by day, trying to make yourself better, building up to your full potential, and just succeeding in every aspect of life, leveling up, getting your dopamine hits from all the right places. That's just the journey. We're all just trying to figure it out. Once you get older, you realize no one really knows what they're doing. No one has it figured out, So whether you're 25 or 65, you still are trying to figure it out day by day, be as happy as you can, and just, have good friends and family, good people around you. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was precious. I love that. Well, on that note, that was sweet. That was heartfelt. That was so good. On that note, make sure that you either leave us a review. It would help us on Apple or Spotify, wherever you're listening to. It would mean the world to us. We're trying to get this thing going. And make sure to subscribe. Even if you don't watch our YouTube channel, go give it a subscribe. Show it some love. Actually, don't do that because it might hurt the audience. Like, no, subscribe because you'll end up checking it out.
Hit the like button, and 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We need those ratings. We need just one sentence of a review would be awesome.
Ooh, yeah, I love that. He's listened to a lot of podcasts. Thank you so much, guys.
See you next time.
See ya.